Is this the most important game for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears? Let's talk about it. Listen, with the schedule just being released later or earlier this week, there was a lot of there was a lot of excitement about what the Bears had to face, who they were facing. Obviously, we opened up the season against the Packers. Ha, what a L for them, right? But at the end of the day, there's a lot of different narratives that are going to be constructed along the way during this season. So this morning, we're going to dive into not only just a few of these games here, but what I believe is the most important game for Justin Fields and Ryan Post in the Chicago Bears organization. It is going to be critical. We're going to get into that right now. Listen, buckle up, Buttercup. It's on a wake up. We're going to sit here and go through this right now. Right now, listen, we've already discussed it. I've already mentioned it. The Chicago Bears face the Packers season opener. I love it. Get that first game out the way. I do believe that is actually an important game, obviously, because it's a rivalry that we've a long held rivalry. But I do not believe it's the most important game. Like I think if we rolled into that game, season opener, had a competitive game, but still took an L, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I really don't see that. Even if Jordan Love comes out and plays impeccable, the Packers have had a 30-year history of developing QBs. You can say what you want. You can say that these were two generational talents. For some odd reason, they were able to identify two generational talents, one after another, and just dominate over the last 30 years from a QB position. You got to give it to them, right? So if we were to sit there and, chances are, and statistics will tell you that, hey, they may be able to do it again. Now, I'm not in on the Jordan Love train, but hey, if he was come in and play and ball out and look a little more to put together than Justin Fields, I would say, well, he should have. Like he played behind Aaron Rodgers. He was there for several years. He should look good, right? Like that's one of those things. Moving on to week 2, the Buccaneers really a wild card for me. I really don't know what to think about that particular game. Again, I know that with Tom not being there, whoever they have at the QB position, really just not looking at that game as being the most important game. It's one of those things where great if you do, great if Justin shows out. I'm actually expecting him to have a good game against the Buccaneers. There's just not a team that really strikes fear in me. The Chiefs, it's the Chiefs. It's almost like saying in basketball. It's like saying you went against the Golden State Warriors in full strength and you took a L and Steph Curry went for 40. Like you kind of expect it. Like I'm not expecting a win or loss, but as far as our QB position and what it means for the organization, I want a competitive game. I am not expecting, and no one should be expecting Justin Fields to outperform at Patrick Mahomes. Like it's a little too soon for that. If he does, great. Hey, that could ultimately end up being the most important game if it goes well. But we want a competitive game. Broncos, you have Sean Payton there. You have Russell Wilson again, legendary coach. I would consider Russell Wilson a legendary QB. One season does not change the narrative. Russ is still the man, in my opinion. It doesn't change there. Like if Justin goes out against that, and I think they still do have a pretty good defense. If Justin goes out against the Broncos and it ends up being a game where he struggled, I mean, hats out, tip your hat to the Broncos. You keep it pushing. It's the Broncos, right? Again, we're trying to identify the most important game. And it's a particular thing that we want to I highlight. How does Justin play? Obviously, this is a very important year. How does the team overall look? Things of that nature. So again, we're talking about several teams that we've mentioned already: Packers, Chiefs. Now we're at the Broncos. There, you can have a rhyme or reason as to why those games in themselves. Whether you throw up a goose egg or not. It's like okay, you could have saw it. We're not. No one's expecting us to be a playoff team. They just want to see progression from a 3-win season last time. Last time. So at this point, it's like, hey, we can live with that. The Commanders, I'm expecting us to win. I don't know nothing about no Sam Howell. I mean, I do, but like I don't care, right? I don't care. I'm expecting us to win that game. I'm expecting Justin to have a good game. Vikings, I'm expecting that to be a struggle. But even if this is one of those things where the Bears go out, it's a competitive game. Or even if it's not competitive, it's the Vikings. The Vikings had a really good season last season. The Vikings have a really good receiving core. The Vikings have a really solid team. Like even with everything they've gone through, even how they lost in last season, I still expect them to be a pretty freakishly good team. I'm not tripping if Justin seems to struggle and doesn't look as put together as Kirk Cousins, who's been putting down 4,000 yards for several seasons. I'm just not expecting that for my third year QB right now. I'm not expecting him to look better than Kirk Cousins. I'm expecting him to reach his full potential to look better, but this is not this season. That's just my personal opinion. Hey, honestly, at any point in this video, I want you all to leave a comment because I really want to hear your thoughts as we go through it. Looking at the Raiders, I'm not expecting Justin to look better than Jimmy G. I'm not expecting it. I want him to. I want him to, but I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting us as the Bears to look better, completely better than the Raiders. Although I do anticipate a win, although I am like we're at that point of this retool or rebuild. I think this is a rebuild or what have you, where if we these are a couple games that we should probably win, but it's not definitive. If you get what I'm saying, it's one of those things where hey, we shouldn't be 3 wins, but I'm not expecting 11. Like, I'm not expecting me to put a bunch of W's on this calendar right now. I'm expecting it to be kind of 50-50, a little more toward the 40-60 roll, with us taking a slightly under 500 position. Just again, better than what we were last year. That's what I'm expecting. Anything else is a bonus for me. Anything over 7 wins is a bonus for me. It really is. I just want to see us clean up on mistakes. I want my QB to look better. Jimmy G is, I mean, the numbers show it. Like, he's not always the reason they win, but for some odd reason, he wins. And I mean, hey, I saw a game where I thought he outplayed Aaron Rodgers. It just kind of is what it is. Like, whether that's the truth or not, optically, even if he didn't outplay him, he looked on par for the type of game that was being played. So I'm not expecting third year Justin Fields to go out there and look head and shoulders better than Jimmy G. I'm just not. I hope that he does, but I'm not. Bears versus Chargers, as we keep this thing moving, Justin Herbert's just in a different system that just has allowed him to sling that thing. He's just a freakishly good talent. Like, I want Justin to be competitive. I want Justin to look good. I want us as a team to look good against that team. But if we were to take a L against that team again, I'm not necessarily mad. It just depends on how the game shapes up. Realistically, if that's a competitive game and we're in it, every one of us in Chicago is going to sit there and look like, man, look at the team that Post put together. We're competing against some of these teams that we probably wouldn't have had a chance against last season. Like, that's the type of season that we're going into right now. The Saints, I'm kind of looking at that as a W for us because while I think Derek Carr right now was a better QB, he's more seasoned. He has nearly a decade of playing time under his belt. He should look better than Justin Fields right now. He should be sitting there, getting this team, putting this team in a position to win. Now, ultimately, I think we still beat them, but from a QB position, because again, this video is about the most important game for Justin Fields and Ryan Poles and the entire organization, right? I put it in that particular order for a particular reason. Top to bottom, I'm expecting Justin Fields to look good in that game, but I'm not necessarily saying that he has to look better than Derek Carr, but I am expecting us to win. You can do with that what you will. But we roll into the Bears versus Panthers. That's a whole different story. There's too many different storylines to that. You look at most of the games on this calendar, and you can make up a rhyme or reason as to why Justin may not look better than the opposing team's QB. More time in their system, this, that, and the other. You can make those reasons. Hey, even with Derek Carr going to a different team, he's a seasoned QB. Some of this stuff is you expect him to look better. Justin Herbert, we've already went over that. Kirk Cousins, we already went over that. Even with the rest of the season, Jared Goff, I'm expecting Jared Goff to still continue he had two good. He had last season. He was a monster last season. Jared Goff is not getting the love he deserves. He had a monster last season. Like, I'm not expecting Justin to sit there and be head and shoulders over that guy when Justin's never thrown over 3,000 yards. I'm not expecting that, right? I think there's too much pressure to put on Justin to expect him to be better, head and shoulders over these other veteran QBs. I'm not expecting him to look better than Deshaun Watson, who we've called the Michael Jordan of freaking football. I'm not expecting him to look better than Kyler Murray, who's, again, different system, different weapons, stuff like that. He's just had better opportunities. He's just been in a much better situation, so he's been able to actually mature his game in a different way. I'm not expecting him to be better than that. I'm expecting us to beat the Falcons. I don't even know who their QB is. Maybe I should. I don't. I don't care. Like that game, yeah. Packers again. Okay, we've already discussed that. But the Panthers, looking at Justin Fields, that game right there has so many different storylines to it. And we at Chicago, we have to admit this. It's one of those things where if it goes wrong, and it could go wrong, we may be having a different conversation. We may be having a different conversation on so many different levels. If Justin rolls into that season, excuse me, into that game, and does not look, and I think that's week 10. If he doesn't roll into that game looking like a much better QB than last season, looking better than the opposing team's quarterback, who will be someone that we traded, a team we traded our number one overall pick with. If we don't, if we don't win that game, winning that game is different though. I don't know if the pressure is so much on that, but that right there, your GM is now under fire, your QB is now under fire, and it's one of those things where that's the most. There's so much pressure on that particular game. It's almost to the point where you could say that you can lose almost every game up to that point, but you better win that one, or you better put up better numbers than opposing QB. Because if you don't, if you look completely trash with a team that we are expecting to have less weapons and protection for their QB than us, like I don't know if anyone notices it, but the Panthers are going to be pretty bad. That's why they were in the situation they were. We were ultimately pretty bad, but we all felt like we were a better team than what our record showed. No one felt like the Panthers were better. Like no one. Don't even lie to yourself. Don't sit in these comments and put these long paragraphs talking about some. Oh, you can't say that. They don't lie to yourself. This is the realism of the situation. I'm here to tell you the truth, not to feed you lies. That no, that game is important. It's probably, in my opinion, the most important game of the season by all metrics on what it hits from a QB, GM, organizational, just because of all the different moves that surrounding that. It's important. If Bryce Young, who goes out there, and by the way, the kid looks like he played for the Little Giants. I looked at that film of showing this, of him at mini camp or stuff like that, and I kid you not, I kid you not, I promise you, I'm not lying. They said he was on the field. I said, where is he? When I first looked at that clip, I said, where is he? Said the guy in the red shirt that's handing off the ball. Now, mind you, I know QB wears a different shirt. I promise you, I thought that he was just someone like a backup, something. I didn't know that that was really him. That kid is so freakishly small. Lord help him. I don't see how he's going to do it. That kid is one good hit away from ending his entire life. That's what it looks like right there. And I'm not wishing that on him. I'm just saying the size concerns were real. So if Mighty Mouse goes out there and sits there and slings for about 300 yards, dotting people up, going out there looking like a more complete football player in QB than my six, I think what is Justice? I don't care. Justice is way bigger than him. I'm bigger than Bryce Young, so I know he's way bigger than him because Justice feels bigger than me. If he goes out there looking better than just, we have a problem. We have a real problem. That game right there is going to determine. That's going to determine some people's careers. I kid you not. That game right there will be the defining moment, and it's going to be one of the dark spots on Ryan Poe's career. If Bryce Young looks better than Justin Fields, because you made the decision to ride with him, you just made the decision to sit there and do everything with him at this point, and you had the opportunity to go grab that young QB. Now, I'm not saying he should. I'm not saying he should. But I'm saying that that's what the narrative is going to be. You all think I'm lying, and I'm not. But I want to hear your comments on it because to me, Week 10 against the Panthers absolutely is the most important game. I don't care about any other game. I can make up a reason for us losing to half those teams. I can justify a reason for half those QBs looking better than my QB. I cannot justify anything about the Panthers looking better than the Bears, Bryce Young looking better than Justin Fields. There's nothing there that you can sit there and justify. So if you lose that game, or Bryce Young goes out there and looks tremendously better than Justin Fields. If they even comparable, that's the part I want you to understand. People are using this narrative where if he does good, but my QB looks good, then I'm happy. No, no, you're not going to sit there and use that narrative when you've drowned everyone else in the whole, where you can't compare the year four QB or year three QB against a rookie. No, keep the same energy, give the same smoke. If Bryce Young goes out there and he's on the same playing field of Justice, we may be having a whole conversation as to why this is it, why this is. I'm not trying to hear anything else. Rookie versus 3 year pro, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. But I want to hear your thoughts, man. This is what I wanted to sit there and discuss this morning. Put something on your minds. I want to hear it in the comments, whether it's love, whether it's smoke. Man, get at me. I'm here for it. I'll be in the comments with there with you. Again, it's your boy PK with the Windy City Breeze. I appreciate you all tuning in, man. We crossed 18,000, going for 20. Go ahead and pump us up, man. Y'all blow everything else up. Blow this up, man. Listen, give me all the smoke. I'm ready for it. Have a good day.